Medicham was the strongest Pokemon in the GO Battle League for most of the history of the GO Battle League, basically. And now it's kinda gone. But in this cup, it's kinda back. Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at a very strong team around Medicham. We're going to have here our Shadow Metang, which are only built for this cup, specifically also for Oranguru. We're going to have the face-up of the Gyarados, which is just generally the best face-up in this meta currently, in my opinion. There's next to nothing that can really counter Gyarados unless you're talking about a Raichu, which is by far the strongest answer to it. But then in the back here, we're going to have our Medicham, and Medicham is very, very strong. This team has one weakness, which is very difficult to kind of get rid of, though. This team has the weakness of encountering a Ghost type in the lead. If you encounter a Ghost type in the lead, it's a bit more tricky. You have Gyarados, of course, to still deal with this. Pokemon with Crunch as well. You are okay if you have energy advantage on your lead. But otherwise, you're going to have a Psychic type in the lead and a Psychic type in the back, and they sharing that one weakness, which I generally don't really like, but I feel like it's still the best kind of team that you can run around a Medicham. And so today we're going to take a look at this Pokemon, as we are going to see here as well. They're going to go for Brutal Swing with their Oranguru, and we are going to have here the Ice Punch coming through with the Medicham. Medicham is a very solid Pokemon here. Why? Because of the coverage it has. Ice Punch is amazing in this meta. There are a lot of targets for that. There are Flying types, there are Ground type Pokemon. There are a lot of targets for this move generally, and then we have the best possible coverage move here with Dynamic Punch. Dynamic Punch is one of the strongest moves in the game. 90 damage for 45 energy is amazing. It's the same basically as Side Strike on Mewtwo, which is the legacy signature move. So that's kind of showcase you on how strong Dynamic Punch really is. And so basically Medicham is having a lot of play here with the coverage it has. And so we can move on to the next opponent. What we'll see here is we're going to see the Metang against the Metang, and we can catch the move onto our Gyarados. This is going to be the Gyro Ball doing resisted damage, which is perfect because we keep our energy in the lead. As you can go for a charge move straight away, the Aqua Tail is coming through, and the Aqua Tail is going to allow us to get a lot of damage onto the opponent. As we see as well, we're going to try to go for the full farm down. It doesn't work, but I can go for the shield and the full farm down now afterwards, which should allow us to realign ourselves and get some damage in, but they get the Gyarados in against us, and this did not work out the way I expected it would work out, and so now we're in a bit of a tough spot. We're going to have the Gyarados now against our Metang. We at least have some energy on the Metang, which is kind of beneficial for us, as we can go for another Side Shock against the opponent, but they catch the move onto the Metang, which means I have to play the same thing again. Let's try to catch a move, and it works out yet again as well, as I even get the free fast move in with the Medicham, which now allows us to go for the Dynamic Punch faster than the opponent can knock us out, and this is super important as the Dynamic Punch is going through. This is going to allow us to get the shield from the opponent, and we're going to try our best to go for yet another charge move. As you see, we're going to have, the Side Shot coming in and doing some solid damage. We have the Dynamic Punch coming through, and the opponent catches the move as well with a Gyarados. But not before I can go also for the Side Shock with my own Metang, and this should hopefully be enough to knock them out. As we will see here, this is going to be enough, and the Metang from the opponent doesn't have the shield, and with that, they're going to lose here. Next opponent, we will see Bronzong in the lead. That is fine. Bronzong is a totally okay lead for us, because we have neutral fast move coverage. The issue is the charge move is going to be super effective against us, and we have to kind of play around this. And so we are going to try to catch the move. This worked out beautifully. But now we are going to be in a bit of a tougher spot because we're already quite low with our Gyarados. I am forced to use a shield, and they're even going to swap out of here into their, I think, own Gyarados, which we can go for a crunch here. We are going to be able to get the shield, but now it's time for Metang, I guess, to use its energy. That is the best play that I can go for. Side Shock is coming through. This is going to be a nice neutral hit. It does stab damage. It's a very, very solid hit to go for. As you can see, we have another charge move coming in now as well, which is going to be a Side Shock, getting in the shield, and we can try to go for nearly the full farm down. But as you can see as well, we're going to use a shield again to try to align ourselves, as we need to kind of do that, as there's getting still to another move. It should be just the Aqua Tail. I don't think it's going to be enough to knock us out. Aqua Tail is coming through, and we have still a little bit of health left, and the Bronzong comes back in, as you're going to try to catch the move here, and trying to get them also into the range for Dynamic Punch. Dynamic Punch does around 45% of the opponent's health. And here, the Oranguru comes in, and they try to counter us, but they can't. We have the Dynamic Punch still against them, which is going to do some solid damage, but then again, it's going to be a bit awkward, because I need to kind of have a charge move still stored for the other Pokemon that's in the back there, and this is not going to be enough. And now they already have another charge move on their Oranguru, which makes it all a bit awkward, as they are going to be able to farm them down. This is absolutely fantastic, as we can now go for the Gyro Ball. Gyro got recently, I think, even buffed a little bit, but now it is going to allow us to get a ton of damage onto them. But can we still reach a move in time? We cannot. It was a close battle, but at the end, it sadly didn't even matter. And we're going to move on to the next opponent, where we will face here now the Raichu, where we're going to do some nice super effective damage against as well. This is going to be perfect. As we will see here, we are going to be able to go ahead and go for some nice fast move pressure, and now Side Shock is going to be even enough to knock them out as well. We have here the move coming through. The Side Shock is going to get the KO here against the opponent, and as you see, there is going to be now next the Thackery is coming in, a Pokemon that doesn't want to get hit by a Gyro Ball. And so I am going to be able to kind of force them to go for their energy kind of immediately. And I can use this to my advantage because I have a Pokemon in the back that is going to be kind of fine here as well in the way and catching the moves, which is going to be our Gyarados. Why is this fine? Because Gyarados is going to be able to not only take this Aura Sphere, which is going to be a resisted hit, we are also going to be able to go for the Aqua Tail, which is now going to allow us to get 2 moves off maybe, or like the opponent starts to throw, or they're going to swap into their own Medicham. This is actually totally alright for me because I can now get some damage onto them, or the final shield. I will get the final shield here, and we can try our best to go into our own Medicham afterwards, and we keep the alignment. And this is important. We want to keep the alignment here. This is the exact thing that we want to have the entire time, is alignment. And as we see here, they are going to go for their own charge move. But it is going to be fine because we still have energy on our other Pokemon. We have energy here on this Pokemon. And we are going to be in a very solid spot in order to win this. As you will see here as well, there is going to be another Ice Punch coming through. Medicham is going to go up against Medicham. We see here already that this Pokemon is not just good on our team. It's also going to be good for the opponents. It's generally a very strong Pokemon. And as you see as well, there is going to be the opponent trying to do their best with their own Ice Punch, but we're going to be in a solid position. We can go for the full farm down. They go into the Togekiss. I can go for the Side Shock now, and 2 Side Shocks are going to be all it takes to knock them out. And with that, we are going to be able to win this battle, and we can move on to the next opponent. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be the Turtonator, which is an awkward lead for us. But we're going to sub out into our Gyarados, and we have now at least the option to generate energy faster than the opponent. And we force a first shield, while they force our shield. This is interesting, as we can now go for another crunch against the opponent as well. But we are not in a position where we're going to be able to realign itself, so this is... Oh, we get another shield. That's kind of interesting. I keep even my other Pokemon. I can just go into my Medicham, take the hit, and play it out. Let's see on how this is going to go. We have the Turtonator still in the back. We have to be a bit mindful about this. But keeping our Gyarados still alive can allow us to maybe deal with it later on. So that's going to be kind of cool. Here, we barely do damage because of the debuff. This is very awkward. The debuff is very impactful here. Dugong does its job basically without even being on the field, and they boost themselves up, making it a little bit more dire for us as well. But as you're gonna see here, there's going to be the Oranguru trying to go for a charge move. This is going to do some solid damage here. It's going to be boosted as well. It's going to two-shot us, but there's still going to be, of course, a Turtonator in the back, which you still have to deal with. And I was thinking, I still have an Aqua Tail most days stored on my Gyarados, but do I actually? I'm not too sure. Only one way to find out, though. I am not. I have one fast move that I needed there in order to get to the move. I have now the Aqua Tail stored. I know that the opponent is a 2-Brutal Swing, so I have to throw straight away. But if I just got the move off earlier, if I just had the energy for it earlier already, I would have been fine here now. But like this, the Dugong is still in there, and they perfectly catch the move. I do think it didn't matter, because we would have not been able to deal with the Oranguru anyway. We would have not been able to farm them down. We would have never got to move with the Medicham, so it really didn't matter. But we're sadly going to go down here, and we're sadly going to lose this battle now. This is going to be a bit awkward here, as you're going to have the best matchup actually for us. That's out for the opponent. We're going to see the support into the Medicham. And we're going to have the Side Shock, which is going to weaken them. But the cool thing is actually that Gyarados is a very solid answer against the Medicham. But you know what's also kind of cool? Medicham is a very solid answer against Medicham. Why did I go to my Medicham instead of my Gyarados? Main reason is we saw already the lead. We saw Oranguru. Against Oranguru, Gyarados is generally considered better, and also, here in this kind of scenario, it is safer to go into Medicham because Gyarados takes more damage from the opponent. Medicham here, we're just going to be able to go for one Ice Punch and they stop out into their own Oranguru. We are going to be able to go for the Dynamic Punch, and this is going to do some solid damage against them still, which is fine, as I can stop out into my Metang, and I can do so much fast move pressure. as I could even let one move go, but I decided to use a shield against the Brutal Swing. We're going to have here the Side Shock now coming in, but it is a CMP tie maybe even? I don't know. They're gonna still get another Brutal Swing in time, and yes, we lose the CMP tie here. I didn't know that I had that much bulk on Metang. That's kind of crazy, as we can get the KO against the Oranguru, but they still have the Glalie in the back, and this is going to be not game over actually. They're going to have the Medicham here, and I still at least have a chance here. I can go for the full farm, but never mind, I don't even get up to the multiple moves. But actually, I think this was a mistake. I don't think I should have farmed him down. I should have went into my Medicham and farmed him down with that Pokemon, because Medicham actually would have been able to get more energy here. And what we see as an issue is that the opponent here now is going to be able to knock us out. And now we have a one shield, Glalie against us. I don't reach my moves in time. I have to catch the move onto my Gyarados, and I don't think I'm going to be able to win this here. And now in hindsight, if I played it just a tiny bit differently, I would have won that. That is my mistake here. This is something that I didn't notice. I knew that I lost this game. I was like, oh, I'm a bit disappointed in how the game kind of went. But it's actually down to me. I could have played it better. I was doing the mistakes there. So anyway, we are going to see here now next up the Gyarados against an Elite. Matchup where we can outspeed them to the harder hitting move. As they would outspeed us to the Awkward Tail, but the Awkward Tail is not really that threatening. And so I'm gonna swap out here into my Gyarados. I could let one move go, but I decided to use a shield. There was a little bit of lag in between there as well, but that's alright, as you're gonna have now the opponent going for a charge move here. It is going to be the Awkward Tail. And in comes the Oranguru, where Crunch is going to do some solid damage. This is going to allow us to get the shield from the opponent, and as we'll see as well here, we're going to have the Medicham coming in, which is going to now take the hit. Medicham is great at taking hits, by the way. The bulk of this Pokemon is amazing. I do think it's kind of the bulkiest. I think it's actually only the second bulkiest fighting type Pokemon. I think Throw has a more bulk in theory than Medicham, but Throw doesn't have a good fast move at all. Maybe it changed with the new season. I would assume we could see a fighting type update, as basically I feel like Credillia is a bit too strong. Bastion kind of took over a little bit, and you only have like Annihilate and Primeape, who have a bit of play as a fighting type. I feel like this would be the type that you could look into again. But yeah, as you're gonna see here, we're going to have the opponent's Metang against our Metang, and we are actually in an okay spot. We can go for the Dynamic Punch here. Dynamic Punch is going to be enough to do a lot of damage here, not enough to knock them out, but enough to put them into farmland range. As a swap out into the Oranguru, I tried my best to get to the move. I didn't get to the move. And now the only thing that I can do is I need to go for the Gyro Ball, knocking them out, while also keeping enough energy in order to go for a Side Shock straight away, which I am going to be able to do, which is perfect here as well, as now the charge move is coming in. It's going to be the Side Shock. It's going to not knock us out, but we're going to be fine. And we can see here that this is going to allow us to get the KO, get the win, and we can move on to the next opponent. I really can't wait for the next season. It's going to be hopefully such a cool season with a lot of move updates. And I hope they're going to be more changed towards the system generally, though. I feel like there are a lot of things that kind of need to be changing for GO Battle League in order to kind of get where it's supposed to be, because I feel like this game has so much potential, but not in the current state it is in. And I fully get that as well. I feel like the rewards are a little bit lackluster for what you have to kind of invest into it. I feel like there are a lot of kind of changes that you have to do for PvP. I feel like the game mode itself could change a little bit more. But yeah, this is going to be it for this video here already. This is the final battle. What do you think about this team? I think this team is alright. I think the Medicham is a very solid Pokemon in this meta. I had a lot of problems playing against Medicham, but now playing it myself, it was okay. It wasn't bad. But I would be lying if I would say that this is the best team that I've did so far for this meta. I think the Bronzong, Jonkus, and Atari team was the best, most consistent one, and afterwards it's going to be the Raichu team. This team is fine, but it is nothing more than that, and that is something I kind of want to be clear about, because I don't really like to, I always kind of want to be honest towards you as well, if a team works out or not. This team was okay, it worked out quite alright, but it was not broken by any means, and here we're going to lose the final battle. And that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed, and if you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then. Bye bye.